No dog sold or raised for illegal purposes. This is a historical and entertainment-based channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah. Episode 64, come on, let's go now. Yeah. A deeper look into Latin Dreams beef. A look into the pedigree of champion Chino. The significance of KMK's bullets. Let us analyze the evidence on this episode of Bulldog Court. Bulldog community, please rise. This is your host, Get a Hold James, because we got to get a hold of the game.
Court is now in session.
Ooh, we man. This is your boy, Get a Hold James, because we got to get a hold of the game. I'm so happy that you could join me tonight. You could have been anywhere else in the Bulldog streets, but you decided to come kick it with your boy. And I'm so happy that you did. You underdig. I'd like to thank everybody for checking out last week's Bulldog Court episode 63, where we took a deep dive into some of the confirmation champions, as well as we keeping it a G going back into the past with some of the game bred animals. But many of the confirmation champions were also game bred as well. Then we slid over to the Bulldog Court live after show with my Cap brothers. You know, Papa Cap, the Honorable One J-Bo, Pressure Cap, Pressure Killer Combine, and y'all already know Short Buzz Cap, King T. And we did our 1-2 talking about the proceedings that we had this evening or that evening, and talked about how we not that far off from the game bred animals and have multiple purposes. This week we're going to continue in that same way. And I'm apologizing to you already because I promised you that we were going to get to the weight pulling champions, but we will do that on next week. But we will be getting to those. But we want to go back into some more confirmation champions and get us to this thing called the producer of excellence. Not producer of record, not POR, but POE, and the origins of this. We're going to get into that today. But we'd like to thank everybody for checking out not only Bulldog Court last week and Bulldog Court Live, but also Hump Day Cap with my Cap brothers, King T, Pressure Killer Combines, and also the Honorable One J-Bo, with our special guest that we had coming in already. We had Fat Bill came in and blessed her with some history on some winning streaks. You know, talked about the realness of it all. Even touched on a little bit about conditioning. You know, these, pretty much folly talk when they come to the keeps. You understand me? And then, of course, on Thursday, we had a great show with Bulldog and with Bo. You know, we always support our brothers over there at Dog Man TV. Salute the nonstop. And the Honorable J-Bo for getting into, you know, if you had to do it all over again, what would be the dog you would start off with? Oh man, you open up a can of worms when they said that. A lot of different answers, you know what I'm saying? A lot of different perspectives were covered. If you missed that show, you might want to go back and check it out after this, the proceeding that we have this evening after Bulldog Court Live. You might want to go join the replay gang on that one. But I'm not going to prolong the time. With my first case, a deeper look into Latin Dreams beef. When I'm talking about Latin Dreams beef, I'm talking about none other than Grand Champion Latin Dreams beef. This is a confirmation Grand Champion born back in 2010, but this dog has very much a heavy game bred background as far as the pedigree is concerned. And when we look at the pedigree of how this dog is bred, we see a lot of familiar names, Chico Lopez's Damien registered married, which is awful, supposedly. Mayday and Stone City's Blondie, Southern Kennel's Lady Doll, for Mayday bred to his sister, Champion Dragon Lady. We see some, Chance Dudley, Hollandworth Dolly. We see, some Grand Champion Amboss in the pedigree, some Powerhouse Kennel Champion Deadlift in the pedigree. But heavy Red Boy Jocko Bolio Tombstone bred animal that was used for confirmation. You know what I'm saying? If you can see by the picture on the pedigree, well-built animal. An animal built and bred like the originals intended to breed them. But they are multi-purpose animals. You just do not, I wish we could just erase that from people's mind, thinking about, the fighting aspect of them, because they are much, much more than that. So I just wanted to show yet another full game bred animal that was not used for that purpose. It was used for confirmation because of how well their bodies are built, their muscle structure, their height, length, tail length, from shoulder to chest, that length and width, a perfect example, and with the attitude, you need that also. So I just wanted to take this time to show off another one. Salute the Latin Dream Kennels and their Grand Champion Beef Dog. And like I said, heavy deadlift, just like the old school. A lot of deadlift. Mayday, Chance Dudley, some more Hollandworth, Grand Champion Amboss, R.I.P. Vince Cooper. And this is just another great example. Not only did he become a Grand Champion confirmation winner, but he was also able to produce a champion of his own in the confirmation winner TNC's Champion Asada. Now, I'm going to leave this here for you to check out, and we can converse in the comment section of Bulldog Court or in Bulldog Court Live. I look forward to your commentary. Is this something for the people who are not or were not as interested in the confirmation ring to become more interested in the ring? Let us discuss. So, for the case of a deeper look at Latin Dreams beef, this case is now dismissed. We'll get back to the show after these important messages.
Check out one of the best dog talk shows out here, Bulldoggin' with Bo, on Dogman TV, Thursdays and Sundays, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Shout out to his co-host, Nonstop.
Hammerhead on the beat, bitch.
Yeah. And now for my second case, a look into the pedigree of Champion Chino. When I'm talking Champion Chino, I'm talking about none other than Lucky Lopez's Champion Chino. And this is another dog that you might be thinking is one way. I know what you might have heard. I might know what you might have thought. But this is not what you think. Once again, this is another confirmation champion with a very much battle bred, if you will, pedigree. And we want to take a little deep dive into the pedigree and see how this dog is bred. This dog is Eli to death, just about. Eli out the yin yang. His sire was Lucky Dog's El Champ, who was out of Grand Champion Bulldog Born's Little Monster and Lucky Dog's Miss Arizona. Little Monster was out of Gardner's Little Bobby and Kaboom's Little Sophia. Little Bobby out of Frisco and Gardner's Lizzie. Kaboom's Little Sophie. Sophia out of Young Monster. And of course, Sophia. Lucky Dog Miss Arizona, one-time winner POR, was out of Arizona Combines. Buddy out of Silver's Juice and Arizona Combines Jules. The Dam was Annie, who was out of Arizona Combines Grand Champion Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea being out of Clemens Dick and Fat Bill and TVK's Ripper, bred to Wilson's Juicy. Now for Champion Chino's Dam. His mother was Boudreaux Sassy, who's out of Boudreaux's Ham and Flowers Roxy. Ham is out of Boudreaux's Sprocket and Boudreaux's Chip. Flowers Roxy is out of Flowers Debo and Flowers No. Now, the Flowers you may not know. I don't think I have to go any further on the Ham side of the pedigree, but the Flowers also goes back. Flowers Debo is out of Boudreaux's Sprocket and Boudreaux's Beauty. Flowers No is out of Boudreaux's Dagger, another good stud dog of the past, bred to Boudreaux's Kizzy. So, as you can hear, Chinaman, Bolero, Maverick, Maverick blood. Boudreaux's Eli, very much heavy, coming through all different ways. Grand Champion Little Monster, all of that. But this dog was none of those things as far as the pedigree, but then again, everything encompassing together to make this confirmation champion, coming from a battle-bred background, ancestry, really means nothing when the fact of it is you create the purpose of the animal from which you want to use the animal. Just because you have an animal bred in this way does not necessarily mean that you have to use it in that way. There are multiple purposes for you. You can weight pull, you can confirmation show, you can treadmill race, you could do the long jump, wall climbing, things of this nature. These animals are bred to do it all, really. And this further, in my opinion, kills a certain type of misleading perception when it comes to dogs bred in this manner, to necessarily just do what I call the lazy assumption, very lazy assumption, that just because the dog is bred like this, looks like this, that it gotta be used for some type of illegal purposes. And that's just simply not true. Simply not true. And for people to label them as that I think is a very lazy, extremely ignorant way of going about things. Just casting them off as just, But they do people in society like this, especially from a certain, demographic. They do that. They tend to do that as well. But that doesn't make it right either. None of it is right. To just typecast. Well, if he look like this, then he must be that. No, that's not the case. So I just want to highlight yet another game bred animal used for confirmation. A champion, a winning animal in every capacity of any circle that you put them in, they will be successful. So in the case of a deeper look at the pedigree of Champion Chino, this case is now dismissed. This is a new segment. It's called Bench One. Now, when I think about a bench one this week, I'm looking at all these people who have got in their mind some kind of way that they gonna reinvent the wheel. They gonna bring something that is so unorthodox from the original families of dogs and making a new sub. I don't know what kind of new you trying to make, but all the crosses that have been made or will be made have already been done. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, man, to tell you that. You about 50 years too late, man. All the crosses already been made, man. There's no cross you can do ain't already been made. And matter of fact, we retracing over lines is what we doing. Only thing all of us are doing are retracing. We tracing. The first line's already been made. All you can do is just redo what they just did. But for all those, people who think that they no, there's one more that hasn't been done. It's like, oh man, it's been 25. They done did that 155 times, man. So, man, I'm sorry, bruh. It ain't no such thing as the new or whatever you want to make it. It's already been done, man. Old school been done it. Ain't leave nothing for us to do, bruh. Ain't nothing for us to do but to repeat. We need to be the best repeaters. We need to be the best copycats. That's about the best we gonna be able to do with these families of dogs that already was pretty much related anyway. And then they was crossed out to some other stuff and brought back in. And then, people did it over and over again. So this gonna be my whole thing on the bench one. For all those repeat offenders, because usually they repeat offenders anyway. They gonna try something one time, somebody tell them, oh no, that's been done before. They gonna try something else. They're repeat offenders of trying to reinvent the wheel. So this is my case on. This will do it for my case, bench one. Oh yeah. And now it's time for my third and final case. The significance of KMK's bullet. Ain't that something? We ended last week episode talking about a dog called Silver Bullet, Champion Silver Bullet. And this week we talking about another bullet. But not for the same reasons. We're talking about the significance of none other than KMK's bullet, POE, that is producer of excellence. And the reason why we are looking at this animal, because he is the first ADBA producer of excellence in Europe with just 3 litters, including one with just 1 puppy. So this dog was born in 2012. So that's to let you know how new this POE. We don't usually we see producer of record, but we don't usually see producer of excellence. This is something new that the ADBA is doing for, I guess, to, make the difference between the PORs in the old world and the POEs in the new world as far as, confirmation producers. Now this dog is bred from the old ways though. If you look at how he's bred, his father is Rezanowick's Big Boy. Big Boy is out of Gardner's Dandy Andy, who's out of Frisco, and Gardner's Boss Lady. Boss Lady is also out of Frisco and China Girl. Okay, then you got Big Boy's Damn is Cruz Red Little Lady, who was out of Cruz Shazam. That is the late Carl Cruz's Shazam. Cruz Didi. Cruz Shazam is out of Cruz Rocky, the legendary Cruz Rocky, registered American William Sweet Pea. Cruz Didi is out of Cruz Nautilus and Cruz Susie Doo. Okay. Bullets Damn is Roman's Black Pepper, who is also out of Gardner's Dandy Andy, who is out of Frisco and Boss Lady, like I said earlier. Bred to Lonzo's Super Lady. This is the late, great Lonzo Pratt. Lonzo and Lonzo's Super Lady was out of Lonzo's Muscles and Lonzo's Jenny Jim. Lonzo's Muscles out of Lonzo's Danger and Lonzo's Diamond Ruby. Jenny Jim is out of Lonzo's Lonesome and Lonzo's Diamond Ruby. So had brother sister on that bottom quarter of the old Lonzo blood, old Vindicator, probably going back to King Elvis, Lancaster Snake, etc., etc. But this is the first of its kind. So this is the significance of this animal. He's the first, or she is the first of her kind, and that is KMK's Bullet, P-O-E. And then when we take a look at some of the animals she threw, on those 3 letters, she had ADBA champion KMK's Bunny, who is also another POE. KMK's champion Madison Lee, KMK's champion Bloody Sunday, Grand champion KMK's Mad Trinity, champion KMK's Imperator Ferocia, another ADBA champion KMK's Speedy Gonzalez, and so just with this, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 champions and 1 grand champion in the confirmation ring. So this is why. So I just want to show off this animal, show the significance of this animal. So for the case of the significance of KMK's Bullet, this case is now dismissed. Yeah. And now it's time for my closing monologue. Like I say every time, make your next move your best move, but move strategic, like a chess move. Say, man, in this game, in the street game, in your work area, in the workplace, it's very important to keep your face clean. I think people know what I mean when I say that. That means keep your rep the best you can keep it, man. Ain't nothing worse than having a bad name in the game. But this is your boy, Get a Hope James, because we got to get a hold of the game. I'm out.
Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and tell a dogman or woman about the Sporting Dog Archive.